Now here's the fun part. What we want to do is, if the switch is detected, we want to press if the switch goes low, because we want to set it to the pull-up pin, which we just looked at. So if the switch goes low, we want to set it to be switch the LED on. So what we need to do is declare some variables. The const and button pin. We create a button pin that is 2. Button pin is pin 2, and we will create another pin, LED pin. You can call it whatever you want, as long as the data type and things are correct. You can connect the pin to whichever one you want as well. So first of all, we've got these 2 pins that we want to use. I want to just run this code. If you are not familiar with the Arduino IDE, this is the Arduino IDE. It comes free. Arduino is open source, and hence basically the IDE itself is also free. So it comes free. You can download and install Arduino IDE and use it. But normally that comes back to David. David, who asked a question about programming your own Arduino. If the code that you write in Tinkercad, basically you can just copy and paste the code here. And what you need to do is select port the board, and you notice the different types of Arduinos that are introduced. Most of them are here. If it is not part, I have installed the Heltec one, because I have Heltec lower one board that I use, and also I use that for Internet of Things application. You've got a wire stick, so these are things I have added onto it. But you've got Arduino Uno Wi-Fi, which is also recent one, which is quite new. But mostly, if you want to use the Arduino Uno, you make sure you've selected the right board. It's quite important. Otherwise, you get errors and you wouldn't know what it is. And afterwards, you select the right US port, where in this case, which is the COM3. If I have Arduino connected, it may pop up with a different number, and you connect to it. Then you just run your code, compile and upload, and it will just upload it to it. So that's the final stage. It's just transferring the circuit and other things that we have to the board. So anyway, all we have is 2 functions, no code in them. 2 functions, no code in them. Let's run it and see what happens. So it's compiling. All I pressed is this one. So this one just verifies the code without basically programming the board. That's why we can use it, because I don't have Arduino connected yet. Set mine in verbose mode, so it says quite a lot of stuff. So already the void setup and the void loop, which we need in almost most Arduino codes, we don't need it in every code, is taking 444 bytes. So already we are just using 1%, doing nothing. There is nothing else in the code. If I delete the comment, you realize it's the same thing. And the maximum memory that we have is 300. And let's see if I Arduino Uno. Sure I have yep, and this is the maximum memory that we have. Currently we are not using any variable, or so the DRAM, the memory RAM is basically just 0% now, but we are using 444 bytes of code memory already. Okay, so we move that aside. We'll get back to it. We'll be using it back and forth. So we have 2 constants declared, and what we want to do now is declare the button pin as an input and then the LED pin as an output. You've done this before, so I'll just walk through it. You can write your own as we go. And we want it input pull. So input pull up, we pulled it. Variant answers for everybody, because yes means yes. All right, good, perfect. People pull up, and also we want the LED pin as output. But we sort of remember the syntax already. I like that people are actually programming stuff and makes life easy for us, right? So we say we declare an integer, and that integer should be assigned to, let's say, reading from the pin. So digital read, and that will be the button pin. Remember, because we are connecting to the pull up as we showed earlier, now all we've done is just to connect this to the 5-volt source on pin 5. That's what we've done. So move this on the side. There's some room. Back up. So we are saying now we know it's 5 volts, but if state of the switch, just to remember, double equal sign. If you have not watched those video tutorials, please go back, watch them. It teaches you some of the basic coding stuff that I know you need to know. You need double equal sign for conditions and then 1 equal sign for assignments. So this is conditional operators. I've got some videos on conditional operators. Watch them, look at it. Right, so if it is low, what we want to do is digital write, LED pen, it looks like basically we're just using SW to get the switch state. So if the switch state is low, that's on, we just use digital write LED high, and then we say else. Digital write LED low. We can do a delay if we want, or leave it as it is, and hopefully it will work without errors, unless I miss something. Okay. I missed something. Let's see what I missed. Oh, right. I made a mistake, and the mistake is both cases. That's the effect of copy and paste. So back to the code, and it's working. I'm glad I've got people who are paying attention. That's really, really good. This because somebody asked. No, just saving the whole thing. So remember, you can save it, you can share it, you can do so many things with it. And the only thing I've probably not introduced yet is here. You notice that I have one Arduino Uno R3. That's the name of this Arduino. So number 1 Arduino Uno R3. If I change it to main, running the simulation. If I change it to main, you notice that the name should change. If there are no flags, right? Still lagging, right? Anyway, so in this case, come on, save. In this case, this is because I have only one Arduino on there. Now let me go back and try something. Earlier on, I showed you where I had more than one Arduino on the code. What do you mean if we can read the resistor? You mean the value of the resistor? Resistor is a passive component. So resistor is a passive component. What it does is it only limits the current going through this the LED. Now the LED is the one that we can visualize in terms of reading resistance values. If you want to read the value of the resistor, that's a different thing. But you can create different resistances and read that using analog read, because different resistances will give you different ratings, and that is what you have done in the sound activity. So if you analyze the sound activity, you notice how you get different resistances on. Now I'll just show this example and then go back. I hope I've not lost the code, because that would be, I've not lost it. So if you notice, I've got Arduino number 2 on there. Didn't change the number 1. Let's forget about it. I've got number 2 Arduino. I've got number 1 with the code there. So if you have more than one Arduino, you can select them and program them differently.